Hey everybody, welcome back to Selena's Corner. Today I'm going to make something that my friend Steve out in California asked me to make in one of the comments on my last video. He also asked for my take on burgers. So I'm going to do my coleslaw recipe first, and we'll put it in the refrigerator and let it chill while we do burgers. And I'm not going to do the whole pound of ground beef for burgers today because tomorrow is Tuesday and I want to do some tacos and burritos for Taco Tuesday. So, I got Dolly Parton today, so I'm excited about that. So I have one step closer to being completely vaccinated against the COVID-19 virus. Can't even think today. It was a long ride. I had to go a 3-hour round trip to get this vaccine. So, anyway, let's get started. So, I wrote down on a whiteboard what we're going to need today so that I wouldn't forget, because usually I just like take some tablespoons of this and a teaspoon or two of that, and I just throw it in there and I don't measure it out. So, I measured it out for you today so you would have an idea. I'm just going to make a small batch. You can make more or less depending on how much you want to make for yourself or your family, or take to a picnic, or have for a barbecue, or just because you like coleslaw. Apparently, Steve likes coleslaw. Hi, Steve! Love you! So, here's what I use. I'm going to shred, finely chop the cabbage that I had left over from the corned beef and cabbage video. I'm going to grab a knife to do that with. This is one of my Pampered Chef knives that came in my kit. Ta-da! So I'll just put that over here. I'm also going to shred a carrot using a box grater. We'll need about, I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to use that for the coleslaw. About a half a cup of mayonnaise. You can use Miracle Whip if you want to, but the other stuff, if you like the sweet kind, which is what I like Miracle Whip better than I do mayonnaise. But there's some things that it just needs mayonnaise. I'm going to add a tablespoon of Dijon mustard. You can use regular yellow mustard if you want to. I'm going to use 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm going to use a tablespoon and a half of lemon juice. You can do fresh squeezed, or you can do the bottled kind. I do bottled kind. It's perfectly fine. I think it's the Key West lemon juice, and I also have the Key West lime juice because I like those. A tablespoon of white vinegar. You can make your coleslaw a little sassier if you want to by using apple cider vinegar. And I almost did that, but I just thought I'd just use the white vinegar today. I add about a teaspoon of poppy seeds. I rarely see coleslaw with poppy seeds in it anymore. It seems like that's the one ingredient that everybody has seemed to have forgotten about. I don't know, but it was always in our coleslaw when I was growing up, and I like it that way. I think it makes it look pretty too. So let's shred up the cabbage first. So I need to take off this first leaf here, and I already washed it because it looks kind of new. So I'm going to take that off, put that over there in the sink. And I'm going to set my carrot to the side for now. And we also need to take the heart out of the cabbage. So we're going to cut that out. And we can actually use some of it for the coleslaw. Spice it up a little bit. Pull that right out like that. Cut off this end piece, because that's the part where it was cut off from the plant, and it's kind of bitter. And then let's just chop this up just a little tiny bit. Big old sharp knife. I love this utility knife. It's from Pampered Chef. This cutting board I got free too from doing a party. I'm not going to use that either. Alrighty. So we're making the coleslaw first because we want to put that in the refrigerator and let it get it cold. while we do our burgers. Let's go ahead. I'm going to fold this up. It's a neat little trick. Fold this up and I'm going to cut it. And throw stuff across the room. Now remember, if you like what you see today, remember to subscribe, like, share, comment, and be nice. Ask me to make something for you. I'm always looking for new ideas. That's probably half of my pastime is looking for ideas for stuff to cook. I just love to be in the kitchen. Alright, so I'm going to cut this in half. I'm going to cut it in half again, so it's easier to manage. Alrighty, then I'm going to set this sharp knife to the side, and I'm going to use this knife. We basically want to shred our cabbage for our coleslaw, so it looks all nice and neat. Make sure we don't get no fingers in there. We don't need no trips to the ER. I told y'all, blood freaks me out. I don't see nobody cutting themselves. You want to use a sharp knife, but you want to be careful too. And we want to cut this in small bite-sized pieces so that when you serve it to people at a picnic or a barbecue or something like that, they're not trying to fight with it to get it in their mouth. That's why I like lettuce torn into really small pieces. I'm going to bring this bowl over here for us. And I'm just going to fan it out as I'm making it. Putting it in this bowl. That's why I like to tear or cut. I mean, if you're going to use it right away, it's okay to cut lettuce into really small, polite pieces is what I say. Especially if you're serving it to somebody else. I mean, if you're eating by yourself, nobody's going to care if you're like trying to get a big piece of lettuce in your mouth. But if you're in public or you're sharing your dinner with somebody, yeah, you might want to not look like a little pig at the dinner table. Especially if you're trying to impress somebody with the cooking. So again, we're just cutting this in small pieces. This is why I cut that half in quarters, so it would be easier to manage, and so that the pieces would be manageable when you put them on a fork. Okay, cut that one through a little better. Alrighty. And remember, if you're going to do what I just did, wipe away from the sharp blade. Remember, can't have no blood. Got to be careful with this stuff. Respect your tools in the kitchen. You've got to respect your tools in the kitchen so they work for you. And taking care of them too. You take care of your knives and the tools that you use in the kitchen, they'll take care of you and they'll last you a really long time. Good kitchen tools are expensive, so you want to take good care of them. Keep them clean. Keep your knives sharp. And if you don't have a knife sharpener, you can sharpen them. I'll show you in just a second, a quick way I do it. That old knife that I use all the time, every once in a while it gets kind of dull because I use it a lot. So what I'll do is I'll get like my coffee cup here. It's a stoneware coffee cup, and see how it's got this little edge on it like that, where the stoneware is exposed. So you can take your knife. I get my knife. Put it away a few seconds ago. And with the sharp edge away from you, you're just going to go along the edge like that. And at an angle, because knife blades are angled. That's why they're sharp. That's why they cut so well. So when you sharpen your knives, you want to sharpen them at an angle. And make sure you're doing it away from yourself. Like that. Really simple. And then make sure that you rinse it off before you use it. That back in the colander. Alright, so now I'm going to turn this, well, I got a big chunk of something here. So I'm going to fix that so it's not a big chunk of something. Cut it up. You notice how I'm pushing the knife away from me? That is the proper way to cut things. You can be careful and you can lift up your stuff like that. But remember, just be careful. You have got to respect things that are sharp. And we just do our last little one. And we'll be ready to make our sauce. Or dressing. You can call it dressing. I think most people call the stuff you put on coleslaw or salads dressing. This is kind of what that is a salad. It's a salad made with cabbage. Turn that down. Put this over here. Could have done a little better job on that, right? Huh, looks like I didn't cut it all the way through. Alright. So I think everything's in nice, dainty, bite-sized pieces. That's actually the proper way to do it. You shouldn't be doing it the way I did it a second ago. Especially if you're not an experienced cook or chef. See, I could have cut these through a little bit better. I'd do a better job next time. Alright. So, I do not need this knife anymore. I will wash all this stuff with soap and water when we're finished. I don't need this one anymore either. Rinse it off and put it in the drain until I'm ready. Alright. You can actually break these in half so they're easier to manage. And we're just going to grate it. And you can use some purple cabbage in this too if you want to. It makes it look pretty. And I think purple cabbage got kind of a spicy taste to it. I think that's about all the nub I'm going to be able to get out of that. You gotta be careful with these box graters too. I've actually like cut my thumb on them a couple times because I wasn't paying attention to how short the item I was grating was getting. Used to have to do these at Pizza Hut. We cut up our own cabbage and carrots. We do all that stuff every day, getting it ready for the salad bar. Sure did. That's why it always looks so pretty and fresh. Because it was. Does anybody even do salad bars anymore? How nice that is? Alright, rinse that off too. This is great for we grate Parmesan cheese, however you want to say it, or even like a nutmeg or something like that, or let's see, you zest lemons and limes and oranges. You can zest it here on this little side here, and Parmesan cheese you can do it here for a very, very fine grate. That little box cutter comes in handy. You can slice things with that one too. So this is another thing you need to have respect for. Now if you're going to use a cloth or a sponge on it, make sure you go this way so that you don't cut yourself or cut up your sponge or whatever it is by going the other way. And if you use this side here, I just use a sprayer and spray it out. Alrighty. Got carrots in there. Got cabbage in there. Not going to need that anymore. See? Always making a mess. Always making a mess. That's half the fun of cooking them. Making a mess. And I'm just going to stir this up a little bit and see how pretty it is. It'll look even nicer once we get our dressing mixed together and put on here. Now if you want to, you can take this dressing and you can throw it in the blender. But I'm going to pretend like I'm showing people who don't have a blender how to do this. Because, yeah, we didn't have a blender when I was a kid. We just had our hands. See how pretty that is? Alright, see, told you I'm making a mess. Alright, so we're going to need this one after we make our clean my mouth right quick. Alright, so now we're going to make our dressing. And we're gonna whisk it. And you can use this is the little mini whisk from Pampered Chef, or you can use a regular whisk, whatever you like. I think this is gonna be too much for my little mini whisk. Alright, so I'm just banging this away and just making a lot of noise, so let's not do that. I'm sure that's annoying. I find it annoying. So let's put our mayonnaise in here. And our mustard. And some recipes call for this and some recipes don't. I use it. I'm going to go ahead and mix these up. Already smells good. Alright. Back over there. Now I'm going to add my sugar and my poppy seeds. And you notice I'm basically doing the more solid ingredients first. So I want those to be able to mix well before we add the more liquidy stuff. It already looks pretty. Now we're going to add our lemon juice and our vinegar. Stir that up real good. You're going to want to whisk it at first because it's kind of juicy. So we want to make sure that it gets mixed in there before we really go to town on it. And we want to make sure it's mixed really, really well. We want to wait until, we want to mix it until it's emulsified. That's just a fancy way of saying mixed together really well. That's why I like to use these clear bowls, because then you can see if you're really getting down to the bottom of it good. Make sure you're getting all the stuff off the bottom and off the sides. I'm just going to mix that up some. Mix quite a bit. That's about a cup. About a cup of dressing. I'm done with that. Now comes the fun part. I'm going to pour this over here onto our coleslaw. Mix. Get everything out of there. I like these handles on these bowls because it helps you hold the bowl steady. Alright. Don't need that anymore, so I'm going to put that in the sink to clean up. And now we're just going to make sure that our cabbage and our carrots are well coated with our coleslaw mix. And I was thinking maybe if you like, since I put either the link to the recipes or I tell you what I used when I made a recipe in the description, maybe what you could do is you could get all your ingredients together and you could cook along with my video. I like videos because this is how I learned how to knit and crochet, because I could stop the video and I could work up to where they were, then I could restart the video and see what the next steps were. So I like to do that. I love YouTube videos for that reason, especially. Alrighty, so I think everything's nice and coated well. Smells good. Take a little taste. So, kind of sweet, kind of tangy. Kind of a mix of sweet and tangy. So what we're going to do now is we're going to cover it and we're going to put it into the refrigerator for a few hours and we're going to let it cool. So while that's going on, I'll get the stuff ready to do the burgers. And I'm not allowed to have a barbecue grill here, gas or charcoal. So I'm going to do indoor burgers, like I make burgers for myself at night. Like I just want a hamburger and some french fries. I just throw it in the pan and let it cook and all that kind of fun stuff. But I do some stuff to it before I actually make the hamburgers. When I make hamburgers from scratch and not frozen. And that way they hold together. Even if you use good ground beef, like chuck roast, ground chuck roast, can you talk? Chuck roast, ground chuck roast, which it shrinks a lot less than, just like regular 80-20 hamburger, or even a little bit less expensive hamburger. I mean, that's fine. If that's all you can afford or that's all you like, just go ahead and get that. Get whatever it is. And I'm going to show you my little tricks from when I was a child that my granny taught me. Her name was Inez, by the way, and my great-grandma was Iola Inez. No, Iola Carnita. So, Iola Inez and Iola Carnita. So, great-grandma was Iola, and granny was Inez. So, anyway, so I'm going to show you the tips that they gave me about how to keep the hamburger together so that when you do it on the grill or a pan, when you flip them over, they don't fall apart on you. Because a lot of times if you just like make your own hamburgers and throw them in the pan or throw them on the grill, they fall apart on you. Well, I'm going to show you how to prevent that from happening. So remember, if you like what you see today, subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, be nice, and I'll be back soon. Hey everybody, so we're back. I straightened up the kitchen and I got everything out I would need to do the burgers with, and I told you guys that I would give you some tips on how I make sure they stay together when you put them on the grill. And they really fall apart on the grill if you don't take some precautions. But I'm going to do mine in a non-stick frying pan, and this is one of my little secrets right here. And I'm also going to do some frozen french fries in the air fryer while my burgers are cooking. So let me just give you some quick tips. I bought these little patty paper squares at the Dollar Tree. I think you can get them at Walmart or someplace like that too. Just look online. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use patty maker. I think I got this from probably Tupperware or something like that. And part of it is missing. I apologize, but it's okay. So, because I'm going to use the patty maker. So, I've washed my hands, but I want to make sure they're extra clean because I'm actually going to squish the hamburger with my hands. I have taken off my jewelry so that I don't mess it up and get anything in the hamburger. So basically, we'll do 1/4 pound burgers, so that's 4 ounces each. And I already took my hamburger out, and I'm using 80/20 lean ground beef. And I buy the 3-pound rolls when I can't find the individual rolls, and then I cut them into 1 pound. So it's a little over a pound, but I'm still going to do 1/4 pound burgers. So they'll be 4 ounces each, and they'll be a little bit more after I add all of our stuff to it. So I'm going to put this over here. Remember, anytime you work with raw meat, you have to make sure that your surface area is cleaned and sanitized. Everything that you're going to use is cleaned and sanitized before you use it, because you don't want to contaminate your meat, and then you don't want to cross-contaminate your other items from the meat. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this in this bowl here, which I've already cleaned. So I think that Eddie Murphy and I grew up in the same household because I got the same hamburgers that he got when I was growing up. Yeah, the hamburgers that had the big chunks of green peppers and the big chunks of onions and the big ball on sandwich bread. Yeah, we grew up in the same house. So I, like them, made sure that my children never had to suffer through that insanity. So I found this neat little gadget at, of course, the thrift store. And it will slice tomatoes, and it will slice eggs. It'll slice anything that you need about that. Cucumbers maybe, celery, all kinds of things. So I'm just going to put this over here to the side because I'm going to do those last. Okay, so for my hamburgers, what I do is I'm going to add a lightly beaten egg using my mini whisk. So I'm going to throw that in there. And about a 1/4 cup of breadcrumbs, just plain breadcrumbs. You can use Italian breadcrumbs if that's all you have. You can also heavy toast a couple of pieces of bread, or even one piece of bread is fine. And just do it ahead of time so that when you get ready to use it, you can use that box grater and grate it on that fine side, or you can just like tear it up in little pieces, whatever you want. But it's better if it's like breadcrumbs. But you can use toast to make breadcrumbs. You can put it in the oven if you don't have a toaster. Just don't let it burn. And then I'm going to use about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, however you want to say it. That stuff. It's like you know how to say it, and then you got to say it, and you can't say it. I'm also going to do some garlic and sea salt in a grinder that I got from Walmart. And some Lowry seasoned salt. And you notice I didn't salt and pepper the coleslaw. I just let you salt and pepper that at the table. And some ground salt. And some ground pepper. So I need to set my scale on ounces, because burgers are going to be 4 ounces, maybe a little more, because it was already over a pound. I'm just going to move this to the side. Ooh, I got egg on my phone. I'm going to have to sanitize my phone now. Oopsie. It's kind of gross. Now we're just going to use our hand. We're going to get in there and we're just going to squish all of this together. And this is kind of going to be the cement that's going to hold your burgers together. Hi, Steve. Squish it in there really good. You kind of make meatloaf the same way, except with meatloaf you would add some vegetables in there, or some parsley. I always add parsley and celery flakes. You want to make sure this is mixed up really, really well. And how you know it's mixed up really well is you won't see any more like dark shade from the sauce, the Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. I don't even know how to say it anymore. Or as Donkey would say, Worcestershire. Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, just mix it all in there really, really good. You don't have any more left. Okay, so I'm going to see how much we actually have, and then we're gonna have to math. We're going to divide by 4, and I have some of the patty paper on here already. All right, so I have about 1.5 pounds. So we could go about 4¼ ounces, depending on how much you want. So I'm going to move one of these patty papers over here. And I love this thing because it makes perfect patties. You just squish it in there and squish it around. And you can use these for the freezer. And you use these to keep your patties from sticking together when you put them in the freezer, when you freeze them. I need to switch to ounces, don't I? So that's a little more, that's about 5¼ Put some of that back. Okay, so that's about 4½ ounces. I'll put that in there. Squish it down. Make a nice hamburger patty. And having those breadcrumbs and that egg in there will actually keep it from shrinking up too much. And we'll just keep going until we have them all patted up. It's a little more than. Squish it down. I like meatloaf too. I like the ketchup topping on it. That's just what I grew up with. You might like gravy, like brown gravy, but ketchup is just what I grew up with. Alright, so that looks good. Just set that over there. Set them like that. Get another paper. And bring this over here. So I decided that instead of trying to make like one little bitty old batch, like for a hamburger today, that I just go ahead and use all of it. I just freeze up the ones that I don't use. I'm just going to eat one for my dinner tonight. with some French fries and some coleslaw. It looks like I got a lot more on one side than the other. Alrighty. Oops. This way this time. Yeah, sticking everything. Alright. Let's see how much we have left. Might be able to go back and add some more to those other patties. I mean, that'd be the best way to do it, right? You just have 5-ounce burgers instead of 4. I'll do this. See how much I got here. So that's about 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 burgers. So I'll just divide it up. Like a stove, and we'll go back and we'll squish those other burgers. We'll squish in the rest of that meat for those other burgers. So now when you're cooking your burgers, whether you're cooking it on the stove or you're cooking it on the grill, you don't want to, you just basically want to put them in there and leave them alone until it's time to flip them over. Because if you're squishing them down, you're squishing out the juice in your burgers, and you don't want to do that. You want them to be nice. And I also have a freezer bag here that I have labeled and dated, so I don't think it's sausage or something like that instead of burgers. I'll pull this right back over here. Squish this down in here. Make my burgers a little bit bigger. So, they're sticking out because it's starting to warm up. The meat's starting to warm up. Bring this back over here. Squish this last little bit in here. I love these things. You can find these at Walmart or Wish.com. I see them for free on Wish.com all the time. Just pay shipping. Alrighty. Meat's getting warm, so it's starting to stick to the whole thing. I'm going to go this way this time. Bring this one back over here and squish this last little bit of meat in there. Alrighty. Then we'll be ready to fry these bad boys up. I'm making mine in a frying pan. Oops, that one's falling apart. I think I squished it down too far. Alrighty. I think I'll cook that one. Excuse me just a second. Somebody's knocking at my door. Okay, sorry about that. Just because being kids. Anyway, I have a Ring doorbell so I can see what they do. Okay, so this stuff is already ready to go into the freezer. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start the potatoes in the air fryer. I'm going to put them on air fry 400 for 17 minutes and they're amazing. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so we're done with all of this stuff. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the bag. I'll put another one on top so it doesn't stick to the bag. And I'm actually going to put them on a plate until they're frozen. stew. Then after they're frozen, I'll come back and I'll squish all the air out. Alright, so give me a second. I'm going to go around the corner and put these in the freezer rack. Okay, so I'm back. So I just straightened up right quick. I'm going to set this out of the way. So, some things I need to tell you about when you make burgers is that I do not recommend rare or medium rare when it comes to burgers. You might like them that way, but it is not recommended that you eat raw meat, especially not raw hamburger meat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, so the different temperatures, I wrote this down on the whiteboard for myself. The different temperatures for a hamburger, rare is 120 to 125, and I'm going to use this to check my temperature. Medium rare, 130 to 135. Medium, which is 140 to 145, and I don't recommend anything less than that at all. Medium well is 150 to 155. That's probably where we should stay, medium or medium well, or well done. If you don't like any red or pink in your burgers at all. Well done is 160 to 165. So I have a meat thermometer here, and I'll put it in the center when I want to check my meat. So what I do is I put this over here in my little nonstick pan, and I put it on medium, high, and I put a lid on it for 5 minutes. And press start. In the meantime, we can cut up this other stuff. So we're going to cut up the tomatoes first. We want to get this out. There's my favorite knife. I had to tell those boys that they were playing around my door that I have a ring video. So everything they do is on video, and I would appreciate it if they didn't play around my front door because it upsets my dog. And she thinks somebody's knocking on my door. Then we're just going to cut this little part out here where it grew on the vine. Just pull that out. Sure, I say that, then it doesn't come out. Let's set this to the side. Now we're going to use this and we'll chop it up. I'm sure I say that and then it won't work. We got little serrated edges on it. It doesn't help that my cutting board won't sit still. And ta-da! We have a sliced up tomato. Alright. We will rinse that off and rinse this off. Take a picture. A lot of hands on my hands, so I just really do that. I can't believe I just did that. But I'm wearing jeans, so you know how it is when you wear jeans, you just don't care. It turns out the tomato is super ripe. Okay, so here's our lettuce here. And I've already opened up the bag that it came in. And we're just going to pull these little pieces off. They're little brown pieces. So this is the core to the lettuce, and You're not supposed to cut lettuce because as soon as you cut it, it starts turning brown and it will make your salads look kind of yucky unless you're going to eat them like right away. Don't cut your lettuce, okay? So this brown part right here. So we need to get the core out of it. So the easiest way to get the core out of it is to slam it on the counter and then it just comes right out. So like I said, take this little brown piece off here. I'll look at the rest of it. Comes brown right there. That doesn't look too bad. Now, I don't rinse the lettuce until I get ready to use it because I don't want it to sit in the refrigerator. And when it's wet like that, it gets mushy and it goes bad really quickly. And it's just me, so I'm only going to eat one burger. So I'm just going to eat this one, have this one little piece. So the air fryer is just telling me that it's halfway through. So I am going to put this back in the bag that it came in because that's obviously the best way to store it. That's how they shipped it, and it came all nice and pretty. And I'm just going to do like this, and I'm going to tie it up like that. And then I'll turn it over like that when I put it in the refrigerator. Don't need any of this. I'll cut off really good because that's what I'm going to use for the sandwich. We got about 14 seconds before we need to turn our burger. And we want to use I'm going to set the timer for 5 more minutes. But I'm going to turn the heat off. So see? Now I'm going to turn it over. That nice and brown it is. Turn it over. And I'm going to put that lid back on. I'm not going to move it from the burner either. I'm just going to leave it right there. And it will cook the rest of the way. Don't need this anymore. I'm going to rinse it off right quick. So, when you're working with beef, I'm almost out. There we go. When you're working with beef or chicken, it's very important, and pork especially, pork has to be all the way done. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about that. Pork has to be done all the way because you can get trichinosis from pork that isn't cooked all the way, so you have to make sure that you cook the pork all the way through. So, let's see. So, I don't normally eat cheese on my burgers, but I'll show you what I do. I'm not going to put it on the burger while it's cooking because it's just going to melt everywhere. You grab a plate. I can smell that Worcestershire sauce. Alright, so I'm going to grab a bun. And I like the sesame seed buns. But that's just me. You might not like them, but I do. And you can toast them in the oven if you want to. I don't. I like them that way. Like if I was at a barbecue grill and somebody said, "Hey, you want me to toast your bun?" Absolutely. Put that bad boy on the grill and toast it for me. But if you want to toast it, you could just like put it in the oven on broil for a couple minutes. I'll throw it in there. I'm not even gonna move the shell. I'll turn it on high. Oh, start. They're too fat to put in the toaster. So you can't put them in the toaster. See how long we have on our french fries. We got about 6 minutes on french fries. Got about 2 minutes on our burgers. So remember, if you like what you see today, make sure that you subscribe, like, share, leave a comment, but please be nice, and let me know in the comments something that you would like for me to cook for you. I'm gonna do the marshmallow invitation peeps next weekend for everyone, because Easter's coming up soon. So we'll have those. So you'll have that recipe. So you'll know how to do the peeps for Easter if you want to do those. And I'm also thinking about doing the scenic sugar eggs. I've always wanted to do those. So and I have the molds to do them. So I might do those next weekend too. And I might start those first and then move on to the marshmallow eggs, because the sugar eggs have to dry before you can handle them and like hollow them out. Then they have to dry some more before you can work with them so they don't fall apart on you. And you make those with royal essence. So they're really nice. They're not meant to eat. I'm sorry. They're meant just to look at. So we got about 50 seconds left on our burger. Got 4 minutes left on our French fries. Looks like a couple minutes on our bun. So I'll go ahead and get out what I like on my burger. What's that, right? Make sure you shake all the stuff before you use it. I think I have some something. One. Not much, that's for sure. Probably dig it down even now. Alright, so our burger is done. I'm going to go ahead and take my bun out. It's toasted, but it's not brown. I'm going to turn that off. You want to leave the broiler on. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's see if I can get this open. I'm not going to be able to get it open. Dun dun dun! I'm just going to tap this on around the edge. Sure, I say that. I won't open it. There it goes. The sweet relish. I like sweet relish on the hot dogs and on the hamburgers. Okay, so I'm going to put the Miracle Whip on the bottom. I'm telling you, there's not much left of that. But I just like it because it's sweet. Alright, so that will go on the trash. There's ain't none left. Alright. I'll put the ketchup. And the mustard. I hate it when it goes out. I hate it when it goes. And I always turn them upside down in the refrigerator. Can't do that on the counter. This is all gone, so I'm going to go ahead and throw it away. Get a little bit of relish. And I'm just going to kind of squish that all around. And remember, I said I don't normally put cheese on my burger, but I'm doing it for you guys so you can see. And I like the white cheddar cheese, or the white American. I accidentally bought this one day instead of the yellow American for grilled cheese sandwiches, and yeah, so that's all I eat now. Alright. Oh yeah, so I gotta check to see what the temperature is. Put it in the middle. around so we can see it. So I'm shooting for medium well. Let me grab these French fries for you right quick. And a hot pad, because this bad boy is hot. Hot, 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 hot. We're going to put this in here and open it up. Put some of them on my plate. Don't do a lot. See how nice they turn out? I'll leave that sitting over there. Remember, this thing is hot. Hot, hot, hot. So I'm gonna leave the hot pad here just to remind me that it's hot. All right, and I put it on my Pampered Chef hot pad. Okay, so my burger is $1.55, and that's what I was shooting for. I'm gonna take this out. This will need to be washed because I put it in my hamburger. It can go in the dishwasher or whatever. I'm just making a mess everywhere. Get my burger up. Bring it over here. And put it on my bun. And the reason that I put something on the bottom bun is so that if there's any juice from the hamburger, it doesn't make my bun soggy. See? It's not a lot of grease because it's 80-20 ground beef. So, and what you do with that is don't pour it down your sink because you can clog up your pipes. But what you do is you wait until it's cooled and it'll congeal like hard shortening, and then you just wipe that out into the trash. Alrighty. So I'm gonna take my cheese. Now I'll put my cheese on my hot burger so it melts. Center it a little more. And I'll put a tomato on there. And my lettuce. Like so. The good thing about hamburgers and hot dogs is that you can put whatever you want to on them. This is just what I put on mine. And you can just squish it down in there like that. Then I'll put some salt and pepper on my fries. I like to dip my French fries. So I got these little cups. I'm gonna put some ketchup in there. Alrighty. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead, I'll put all the stuff away, I'll put it in the refrigerator. And that's my take on burgers that are not made on the grill. Otherwise, you can put them on the grill, but don't squish your burgers down because you're squishing all that juice that your burgers need that makes them taste so good. Either on the grill or if you're cooking them in the house. You can also broil them, put them in a broiling pan. You can broil them in the oven, but keep an eye on them because they have grease in them that comes out as they cook. It can start a fire. So anytime you broil in your oven, you keep your door open just a little bit. and watch whatever you're making like a hawk, because it can go, especially like buns or a dessert like a meringue pie, where you have to brown the top of the pie under the broiler. It can go from not quite done to, oh shoot, I burned it, that fast. So anytime you have broil on, make sure that you keep the door open and that you keep an eye on whatever you're making. So anyway, that's all I have for you, Steve. Love you, and I love all the rest of you too, just in case you didn't know. So again, thank you for coming to Selena's Corner today. I hope you liked what you saw. Make yourself something to eat, and tomorrow I'm gonna do Taco Tuesday, but I'm not gonna video it. I'm gonna wait until next weekend, and I'm gonna do the marshmallows, and we're gonna make peeps, and probably start the sugar eggs. They're just like scenic eggs. They're just for looks. You can gift them because they're so pretty. You can gift them. So I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me.